welcome to Let's Talk Politics. I'm Aogo Obo. This on AIG Media Pro. We're counting down the crucial general elections happening in February. We're closer to it than we're farther away from it. And today we're going to be looking at the Senate, the Ogun East Senatorial District, 9 local government areas, 11 wards. I'm going to be contesting that one. Deji, Ashiru.
103 wards.
103 wards. I made a mistake with that. Yeah. Deji Ashiru is the candidate for the African Democratic Congress, and he will be representing his party for the Ogun East Senatorial District. Great to have you join us on Let's Talk Politics. And I've been going through your profile and everything, and a lot of work you've put in the last couple of months. EDA is the tripod in which you're working with.
That's correct.
So let us begin with empowerment. Interestingly, we've had discussions on empowerment with several candidates. And the thinking is empowerment means you will go out and hand tokens to people. It's what I see you've done with educational kits in some of the areas you've visited. Is that the plan?
Well, that's just a pre-election plan, you can put it that way. Beyond that, what we want to do in terms of empowerment is to actually empower people, because what we have seen so far, people are really suffering. Suffering in the sense that people to even eat once a day is difficult. Therefore, I mean, what is the cause of this? Because people need to be empowered. You need to teach people on how to fish, not just to give them fish. What people have done in the past, the politicians, need to give people fish. They come during the election, hand over stuffs, rice, indomie, and all sorts. And after people vote for them, then nobody sees them again. That's for another 4 years. Mm-hmm. But we are going to change the narratives. That's why we'll be focusing on empowerment in the real sense. When you say empowerment, that'll be skill acquisition. You empower people. We intend to have vocational centers across the 9 local governments where people can acquire skill, and get certified, in whatever field, either soap making.
Sorry to interrupt you, Engineer Dr. Ashiru, but don't you get some concern that you, a lawmaker, getting into executive roles and responsibilities will put pressure on you? For example, if you start, jobs and all of that, which the governor or the president is supposed to get involved in.
That's a misconception. And that's what they made us believe in the past. And that's what, so far, I've tried to explain this at my campaign talk, that there are 2 parts, there are 2 roles for a senator. One is legislative roles, and one is constituency project role. But our senators, in the past, what they've done is to stay in Abuja, right? Abuja is supposed to be a meeting place, not where you're meant to live. Now, at the Red Chamber, they meet on Tuesday and on Thursday, and where you pass bills, either you support bills or serve or you promote bills. Beyond that, there's constituency projects, and there's also what you call constituency project allowance for every senator every month. These project allowance are meant for constituency projects, which includes empowerment. Imagine a senator earning 26 million naira every month. It's not the salary, it's not car allowance, it's not food allowance, but it's called constituency project allowance. That's quite a lot of money. 26 million naira every month. If you do that, the math over 4 years is over 1 billion. That you can actually have a center in each local government. You can have vocational center where people can get empowered. You can, through that fund, you can help the agribusiness, right? Provide equipment, that's all about empowerment. Also, you can do school remodeling, facelift of schools. You can give scholarships. Those are empowerment, but there's funded to do those things. Therefore, for a senator, it's not really an executive there's an
Role.
executive, arm of that.
Right.
Like, for example, the governor representing ADC in the person of Prince Ashiru Isiaka. By God's grace, I pray with the governor of Ogun State come next year. Part of the thing we plan to do is to have free education in Ogun State, which, living on the legacy of General Obafemi Awolowo,
Which is a major part of the ADC, this free education.
Free education, right. And for me, as a senatorial candidate, by God's grace, the Senator of Federal Republic of Nigeria, representing the East Senatorial District, and in my own agenda, that being primary school remodeling. Now, if you go to a primary school today, it's not to write home about. I mean, the public school, is either the classrooms, no chairs, no table, or where there is, they are reading, in a terrible condition. Like I picked some schools, for example,
Right.
there's a school, it's a comprehensive high school, the local government, one of the local government. What we did recently, we furnished the classrooms with factory-made chairs and table. That's empowerment. That's what we intend to do. That is what a senator should do.
All right, let's get to the D. What's the D for?
Development. As you said earlier, we have empowerment, development, and accountability. Right. Now, part of our stuff is also development. Development in...
What's the problem with development? If you look at the report, you think Ogun State is doing pretty well compared to other states, has benefited.
At all.
Is it exaggerated? You think that there are issues with development in Ogun State, especially the East Senatorial District?
Now, in all honesty, the Ogun East Senatorial District, right, has been excluded completely. There has not been good representation of Ogun East Senatorial District. When you look at a district that has 9 local governments out of 20 local governments in Ogun State, representing 45% of Ogun State, the level of development in Ogun State, in Ogun East Senatorial District, is not compared to a majority stakeholder in Ogun State. Now, the major development probably you have seen in Ogun State probably is in the central. Not even in the central, probably just the capital, which is Abeokuta. Where a state you have 20 local governments, you have 236 wards, and just few people have benefited from development. That is not development at all.
What sort of federal laws do you seek to amend or introduce, or just to emphasize that Ogun East Senatorial District needs some sort of development? What areas will you be focusing on?
Well, one of the major areas we'll be looking at is infrastructures. Like, for example, road. There are no roads in Ogun East Senatorial District. Now, the governor, for example, has the power to build the state roads. There are also federal roads that connect Ogun East, Shagam, to Ikene, to Ijebode, to Waterside, to Agowe, Ijebugbo. But there will be complete exclusion. The federal road are not being built. The state road, not interested about. For the state roads in Ogun East Senatorial District, I will use, for example, Ijebode, for example,
right.
They are completely depleted. When I was growing up in Ijebode, for example, 45 years ago, the roads in Ijebode are far, far better 45 years ago than what we have today. No industry, no, it's just a complete exclusion.
All right,
governance.
We're going to take a quick break, Engineer Dr. Deji Ashiru. When we come back on Let's Talk Politics, we'll look at some other issues in terms of the Senate. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Let's Talk Politics, and we're having a discussion with Engineer Dr. Deji Ashiru, the candidate of the African Democratic Congress, the ADC for Ogun East Senatorial District ahead of next year's general elections. I'm Agogo Obo, and Let's talk politics on AIG Media Pro. You can catch all our previous editions. So before we took the break, we're looking at a number of issues. Your interesting tripod: empowerment, development, and accountability. And I had the joke earlier on about people saying the only one who trusts politicians to do what they say they will do is the people. The politicians themselves don't believe they will do what they say they will do, according to former UK Prime Minister Winston Churchill. But tell me, you look at what people talk about the National Assembly. If you're going to rank some of the most maligned people you will find in the politics, it probably will be members of the National Assembly, over everything from the running cost to maintenance allowance and all of that, wardrobe allowance and furniture allowance and all of that. People think they just get paid for doing absolutely nothing. Right. So tell me, accountability. How do you hope to convince people that you're there for their best interest?
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm 100% sure, as of today, that the people of Ogun East Senatorial District, they have absolute confidence in me that I'll be accountable to them. Now, accountability will not start when you get into the office. It starts now. What do I mean by that? In Ogun East Senatorial District, we have 103 wards. The only way you can be accountable to people you are representing is for you to be able to feel their pain. How do you feel that pain? Now, during the campaign, you stay at the local government level or at the state level or district level and just do your campaign. There are 103 wards in Ogun Central District. As of Friday, I've toured 68 wards. I have 35 wards to tour. I told myself, I said, if I'm to represent 9 local governments, 103 wards, I must touch base with all the 103 wards. I must feel what they are feeling. That way, it's easy for you to be accountable to them. And that's what we have done so far. And the last time before the break, we spoke, we had a discussion on development.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just give you a quick example. We got to a place in Raymond North, because Raymond North is part of my local government, and I'm representing, by God's grace, come 2019. Got to a town called Oriloko. Oriloko has a grid, but I can tell you, by January, they'll be celebrating, they're meant to celebrate 17 years in darkness. That their light has not blinked once in the last 16 years. I thought that was the worst. When I finished the tour of Raymond North, we moved to Ijebu East. We started from Ajebandele down, then we got to another town called Jelano. No road. In fact, Jelano has no grid. And meaning that they've not seen electricity in their entire life. This Jelano has over 30 palaces. For you to know that it's quite a big community. What have we done differently today? Just last week, we commissioned a solar power energy center in Oriloko and Ojelano. Now today, Ojelano has a taste of electricity through solar power energy that I commissioned. Same also with Oriloko. Now, these people definitely believe that when I get there, I'll be accountable. And I will tell you the truth. Before the break, I also mentioned that the senators, they just stay in Abuja, move their family, move their wife, their children, and stay in Abuja.
Right.
There's no way they can be accountable because the people they are representing, they are far from them. And that's why I said, when I get into office from 2019, I told my wife, said, my wife, my kids, my family, they are not going to Abuja. They will stay back here because Tuesday and Thursday, Abuja is just a meeting place. It's not a place to live. The people I'm representing are here in Ogun State, Ogun East. But therefore, Tuesday, Thursday, after Tuesday, I fly in on Tuesday morning, have my sitting, then Thursday, after on Thursday, fly back.
You know something, Engineer Dr. Ashiru, the irony is that we have a couple of discussions. I'm sure your party also thinks about the cost of running government. It's been too bogus. You hope to fly in, fly out on a weekly basis. You don't think you're going to incur huge cost?
No. If you look at the cost of how much the flight, How much? I'm not talking of private jets. It's the same. It is the same public airline that I intend to use. Not probably I'm going to have a private jet or whatsoever. Where will I even get money for a private jet to start with? I mean, you're flying on Tuesday and your return flight is on Thursday. I mean,
but now that we've all talked about this sort of thing,
if you look at more of the covenant analysis, rather than staying in Abuja or fly in once a week, to get to work at Ogun Central District.
Very tricky subject too, because you think about discussions around restructuring and how people have talked about the fact that maybe we have just a unicameral system, or find ways we can reduce the cost of governance. But what are your thoughts or your party's thoughts around this issue of restructuring?
Well, I think, in honesty, that's the way to go. The way to go in the sense that the cost of governance is just too expensive. I was reading a post recently where somebody said a bricklayer and 3,500 naira a day. A tailor probably 1,200 naira a day, and a senator earning 433,000 naira a day, right? You also look at the allowances whatsoever attached to the president, to the vice president, function allowance. For me, it's just too expensive. You don't have to change furniture every year. The furniture in my house has been there, for years. And that's still very good. You don't have to change cars every year. I'm sure, some of us have our cars that we've been using for 5-6 years, and they're still working very well. I think I'm fully in support, and my party is in support of restructuring.
One thing that we've learned over the years with the different assemblies, the 8 assemblies are going, the 9th assembly will be inaugurated next year, May 29, is the fact of talk called cross-carpeting, defection. Recently, you hosted a number of people who had moved from one party, I think the PDP and the APC, who joined your party.
ADC,
in fact, the ADC. And I know a particular joke that says that there is no perfect church, because the day the guy leaves the imperfect church and joins this perfect church, becomes imperfect too. And so, are you concerned that it's possible you've brought in people that have said they will do internal democracy in their parties, that's the APC or the PDP, and will eventually infect your party, and then you people will start to defect also too?
Okay, good question. The truth is this: if you have a very strong foundation and your core values are very, very strong, now, no matter the people you bring in, they can't affect your core value. It just lets you mention about the of church, for example. In the church setting today, people come to the church. The armed robber comes, people that are prostitute comes, but they come to church and they become a changed person by giving their life to Christ. Now, the only reason why that you could achieve that without them affecting the church or turning a church to a prostitute or turning a church to people in the church to armed robber, because the church is built on a solid rock, on a strong foundation. I can tell you, African Democratic Congress is built on a strong foundation. And that's why I chose that party to run with. Because my own core values are accountability, service, humility, integrity, love, and excellence. And these are the things I found in ADC. And that's why I'm there. Whoever we are bringing in that they don't have that those kind of values, I can tell you, they've been initiated into the cult of ADC. You want to put it that way.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Deji Ashiru. It's been great speaking with you on Let's Talk Politics.
Thank you.
All the best. All right. So that's it. Until again, I'm Auro Obo. Bye-bye.